According to our textbooks teaching students who are at risk or have learning disabilities, it's important to know the different ways to teach new vocabulary words. The first step is to know that it's important to really break down definitions into simple, clear, and understandable definitions. Some definitions can be very wordy. So with that, some students may not know the words within a definition. So you have to rephrase that definition into a way that they will understand. So for example, the term recycle, the actual definition is to convert waste into reusable material. Some students may not know what convert is, so I would have to change that into a more simple and direct definition, and I would change that into to use something again in a different way. And then I would take that one step further and to give an example that I would recycle my old favorite sweatshirt into a pillow. So they can know that it was once a t-shirt, but now it's a pillow. It's the same thing, it's just used in a different way, which is what recycling is. So that's the first part of teaching vocabulary. The second part is teaching the students how to use context clues when they're reading. They're not always going to have a dictionary or their phone or a device to look up the word that they don't know. So it's important for them to know how to use those words and sentences around that word that they don't know in order to help figure that out. And some of my kids who are in high school, my students don't know how to do that. They always ask me for help, but I have to show them how to use the words around it in order to figure it out. So that's an important skill to teach in the early years. And so that will be the first part of the video, and then the second part will be teaching new vocabulary using examples and non-examples. And in that aspect of teaching vocabulary, it's important to broaden that meaning of that word so the students don't take it so concretely into thinking that's the only way that it's going to come out in the real world. That's the only way that it means. So it's important for them to generalize it in a way that they can say, oh, if I'm shown that a vehicle is a red car, not all vehicles are cars, and not all cars are red, and not all vehicles are red. So they know how to decipher what different kinds of vehicles there are, and it's important to show all those different things and also show the things that are not vehicles so they can tell the difference between the two definitions or two objects. So in this next part of the video, I will be teaching the students how to use context clues in order to figure out the definition of the word. And to assess this new vocabulary word, friction, I will give each student a slip of paper, and it'll have a sentence with the word friction in it, and then I'll give them choices of the definition of the word friction, and they will have to pick out the right definition. So that'll show me how well the students know the definition of the word friction already. So Paige, read this passage about friction. I'll be Paige. So this is a passage. Newton suggested that objects like the soccer ball have a natural tendency to keep moving. The only reason they stop, he believed, is because an unbalanced force acts on them. By an unbalanced force, Newton meant the force applied to the soccer ball by its environment. When kicked, the surface of the ball travels over the grass, creating friction. The taller the grass and the rougher the surface of the ball, the more friction is created. And the more friction that exists between the ball and the grass, the less it will travel after being kicked. Very good, Paige. That was awesome. Now, Brooke, find either the synonym or the definition of the underlined word in the passage. Great job. And George, why did the ball stop? Right. The ball stopped because of the grass and the force that was applied to it by its environment. Very good. That's how friction works. So everybody, let's read that fifth sentence together. The taller the grass and the rougher the surface of the ball, the more friction is created. So Michael, what is friction? Yes, friction is something that causes resistance. Awesome. So together, let's reread the sentence using the synonym instead of the word friction. So we're going to use resistance instead of friction. So for example, I could read, the taller the grass and the rougher the surface of the ball, the more resistance is created. That is how friction works. So everyone, let's read the sentence together with resistance instead of the word friction. Okay, all together. The taller the grass and the rougher the surface of the ball, the more resistance is created. Matthew, now it's your turn to read the sentence using the word resistance instead of friction. Great job. Awesome. So at the end of the activity, to assess their understanding, I will give each student a slip of paper and they will use the word friction in a sentence. And that's how I know that they understand the meaning of the word friction. So that activity went really well. Some of the students seem to be confused with where we got the word resistance, but some of the students were able to grasp what the grass did for the ball, and so it was a more direct way to explain what friction was with the word resistance than to use Newton's fancy definition of the word friction. So I was impressed by George's response with the word resistance, and so that's why we went with that one. So to assess the student's knowledge of the word vehicle, I'm going to have the students each write 2 different kinds of vehicles. So class, a vehicle is a form of transportation. What is a vehicle? Right, it's a form of transportation. Very good. The bus picked up the passengers to take them to the next town. Is the bus a vehicle or not a vehicle? Right, it is a vehicle. Very good. The boat traveled across the river. Is the boat a vehicle or not a vehicle? Very good. The boat is a vehicle because it traveled from one place to another. Sam walked to the store. Did Sam use a vehicle or did she not use a vehicle? Very good. Sam did not use a vehicle. Why? Right, because she walked. Awesome. The girl sat in the chair. Did the girl Use a vehicle or not use a vehicle? Right, she did not use a vehicle because the chair doesn't take her anywhere. Awesome. The family got in the car and took a road trip to California. Is the car a vehicle or not a vehicle? Right. They did use a vehicle because the car took them from where they were to California. Very good. So to assess content mastery, the students will use the word verbally in a sentence. So I would go around to each student and ask them to use the word vehicle in a sentence in a different way. Now the next word, it will be repaired. To assess the student's prior knowledge of repair, they'll give me 2 examples of things that can be repaired on a sheet of paper. Repair means something that can be fixed or mended. Repair means what? Right, something that can be fixed or mended. I can repair the hole in my jeans by using a piece of fabric to cover the hole. Can the jeans be repaired? Right, the jeans can be repaired. My balloon popped. Can the balloon be repaired? No, most balloons can't be repaired. The kids threw a baseball at a window made of glass. Can the window be repaired? No. Why? Right, because glass is sometimes hard to repair, so it's just easier to get a new one. Very good. Mike and Tommy got into a silly argument and they're no longer friends. Can their friendship be repaired? Yeah, it can. Why? Very good. Because of something silly, they shouldn't just give up on their friendship. They can talk it out and be friends again. So to assess content mastery using pair share, I will have one student name an object or a thing that can be repaired, and then the other partner will say how it can be repaired. So, and then we'll go over that as a class. So this activity went well. It got them thinking in different ways of how, things can be repaired and not be repaired, and actual things that are tangible and not tangible. So things that like you can actually feel and hold to fix something, and you can also fix emotions and to make somebody feel better. So I wanted to try and broaden that aspect of the word repair into different ways that they can work out that definition. So overall, they responded very well, and they saw the different ways that you can use the words.